I realized that I am a gift. Now, I say that really lovingly, but we all go through life feeling this imposter syndrome, or I'm not enough, or I gotta do more, and I gotta achieve more, and I gotta make more. And walking out of Santa's house in the North Pole of Alaska, I had an ignite moment that made me realize, like, we are all gifts.
What's up, everybody? Sam Taggart here with the D2D Podcast, and we are going to make this one just straight to the point. And some of you guys may or may not know Lady JB Owen, who is freaking awesome. She's just such a light to the world. And I met her at Dave Meltzer's office hours. We're filming in a studio in Las Vegas for a TV show, and we just connected. And then she's helped my wife with some of her speeches and got authored in a book. And she helped me with my 𝐬𝐿 launch because she has helped publish hundreds and hundreds of authors. She's spoken and produced many, many speeches, a public speaker. She's an entrepreneur. She has traveled the world and is now officially the world record holder. Have you made it? Like, officially world record holder? Rode across Canada? Guys, officially, yeah. So she rode across Canada on a tandem bike with her husband. Like, unbelievably.
Wait. Just a second. I have to correct you. I rode across the North American continent with my husband on a tandem bike.
Yes, across the North American continent. Like, I don't think people fathom that. On a tandem bicycle, that means you're both connected. Imagine being with your partner that long on the same, like, you can't walk away. You know what I mean? You can't even like, oh, I'm going to go ahead for a second. There's nowhere to go. You're attached. And so just an absolute powerhouse. And what's cool is she's speaking at D2DCon Canada and is Canadian. She's actually currently in the northern part of British Columbia in her camper as she's going on a crazy adventure. So I just love meeting people that are adventurous, they're business-minded, they give back. She has an amazing charity. She helps people get on big stages and helps them craft their speeches and things like that. And I think that, you know, we've been able to build a relationship over the last year, and it's been really unique to watch her gift shine of just like a go-getter, go get shit done, make it happen. And super excited having the podcast, JB. Fun.
Thank you for having me. I'm so blessed to be here. I want you to know you're the first human being I've talked to in the last 91 days in the business world, because yes, as you can see, I'm in my RV. My husband and I spent 91 days cycling from Cabo San Lucas, Mexico to the North Pole in Alaska on our tandem bike to set a world record. And this is my first official put my makeup on, do my hair, take off my bike helmet and show up to talk about it. So I'm kind of gleeful. Thank you.
This is so cool. Like, I think, the reality is people can't fathom, like, you know, think running a marathon, 26 miles, map that, then go 100 miles, map that. Like, how many miles was this?
So just over 8,000.
8,000 miles on a tandem bicycle. Holy cow. Like that, like fathoms, like mind boggling. And I can't even fathom that on a normal bike. I can't even fathom that in a car. Like, imagine driving across the North American continent. I can't fathom this. Anyway, long story short, you know, I want to dive into a few things. So you helped me with my book launch, which was phenomenal, guys. If you've not read 𝐬𝐿, we've now sold over 8,000 copies. So like, to fathom just the amount of work that went into that and getting this thing off the ground was really cool. And what she's done is just, how do you bring the ignite moment out of somebody? And that is like her mission. And she threw kind of a, you know, big event here in Salt Lake where people shared their ignite moments. But like, I want to ask you, how do you help somebody find an ignite moment in their life? Because I think a lot of people listening to this, they're like, what's my ignite moment? And if you're listening, I want to challenge you to like, think about that for a second. Like, at what point in your life did you like wake up or whatever? But like, walk us through that process of you uncovering people's moment to where they really had an ignite moment. Tell us about that.
Well, it's fascinating because I meet people, sitting on an airplane or, in a coffee shop, and I'll ask them, what was that moment where everything changed for you? And you see their face change, their eyes kind of look up, and they start going into their memory bank of that exact moment where everything changed for them. And most people remember it so profoundly. And often it was a very difficult moment in their life. It was something that was super challenging. It was the hardest thing that ever happened to them. They got a diagnosis. They went bankrupt. Their partner cheated on them. They had pennies in their pocket. And it was that moment where everything changed because they decided at that exact moment to do something different than become the victim of their story. And I think that's the powerful thing about Ignite Moments is many of us have challenges and tribulations, and we get to decide very profoundly, very intentionally, am I going to go down this path and overcome this and become greater because of it? Or am I going to go down this path and let it take me down? And often, 90% of the time, people can think of an Ignite moment where it actually was the hardest thing, but it became the best thing ever for them. And it totally changed the trajectory of their life. And that moment for everyone is very easy to recall. Now, for those few people who don't have that Ignite moment, they suddenly realize wow, I haven't met that pinnacle. I haven't had to have that moment where I've had to make a big decision. And it starts to percolate in them. You know what? I want to create an Ignite moment in my life. I want to make a decision that's going to make me a better person.
I love that. So what was your Ignite moment? I mean, I'm sure you've thought of yours, and I'm sure you continue to Ignite moment stack or something, but I guess share with us one of yours.
Well, I'm really blessed. We've published 26 compilation books about Ignite moments, and some are in parenting, and some are in business, and some are in relationships. So I've had lots of Ignite moments. But after 91 days of riding on the bicycle, I truly had an Ignite moment on day 89. So we cycled into the North Pole in Alaska, and it was pretty exciting. I'm a kid at heart. And so there was candy cane lane on the road, and there was welcome to the North Pole Mall. And all the streetlights were painted like candy canes in red and white. And there was this giant place called Santa's house. And so you go to Santa Claus's house, and it's this huge building, and there's this 40-foot tall Santa. And I am on my bike, just so gleeful. Can't wait to go to Santa's house. We go into Santa's house, and of course it's full of Christmas decorations, and over in the corner was a Santa. So this is just 2 weeks ago or 10 days ago. And he goes, hello. And I jump up. I'm like, Santa. And it's like this little kid. Anyway, we talked. I sat on his lap. We took some photos. And I was walking out of the building. I realized that I am a gift. Now, I say that really lovingly, but we all go through life feeling this imposter syndrome, or I'm not enough, or I got to do more, and I got to achieve more, and I got to make more. And walking out of Santa's house in the North Pole of Alaska, I had an Ignite moment that made me realize, we are all gifts. And the present is being present. That moment where I was like, Santa, I was so present in the moment. I was just right in the moment. And the present is really being in the present. And so that was truly an Ignite moment. We are all gifts. We are all treasures. We are all incredible gifts. And our presence, when we show up, our presence, when we be ourselves, is truly the present.
Oh, it's so good. And you know what? I'm excited to be in your presence after such a gruesome thing here in Canada in literally a few days. And this will probably be your first stage, I'm assuming. You get to maybe you're going to talk about the story and the road, the 8,000 mile journey at all, or are you going to go to...
Yeah. Well, I'm so excited. I'm literally driving out of the Yukon, driving out of Alaska, driving down Canada to get to D2DCon Canada, and I'll be in Calgary. It'll be my first time literally coming back into reality, coming back into life. And stepping up on the stage and talking about, well, I will share with you, Sam, I'm not just got one world record, I got two. So we also got the world record for the only tandem couple to cycle north to south south and south to north, the Mexican Baja. And so this was another Ignite moment as we are at the tip of the Baja, cycling into Ensenada, just about to, be our last day cycling out of Mexico. As soon as I cross the border, I'm going to become a world record holder. I really took a moment to take it all in because I was thinking, am I ever going to cycle the Baja for a third time? Probably not. And so look around and really notice what is around you. Really savor this moment, really take in this moment, because you may never get this moment again. And I think a lot of us take our moments for granted. We forget how precious it is. Precious time with our kids, just playing on the floor. Precious time with our spouse, just walking, down at the park. We don't take stock of these precious moments because we may not get them again. And so again, another Ignite moment for me to remind us to be present, to be in the present, and to really enjoy what we have, because we get to create everything. We get to manifest whatever we want. 10 months ago, I thought about cycling across the continent, just woke up with an idea. Hey, what would that look like? What do we have to do? Okay, let's just take it one day at a time and figure it out.
Mark your calendars and grab your tickets, because we are back on January 22nd through the 24th, 2026 in Salt Lake City, Utah. 3 days where industry legends, top CEOs, and breakthrough innovators gather to share the strategies shaping our industry. Witness the prestigious Golden Door Awards honoring the elite performers who've achieved what others only dream of. Network with over 2,800 door-to-door professionals across all industries, ranging from solar, roofing, fiber, alarms, pest control, HVAC, and beyond. Founded by Sam Taggart, this is where careers are transformed and million-dollar connections are made. Visit D2DCon.com, click the D2DCon 9 button at the top right, and secure your spot at the most important event in direct sales. Use promo code podcast to receive a 20% discount on your ticket purchase. That's D2DCon.com, promo code podcast. Now, back to the show.
So speaking of that, I guess we could talk about it on this podcast because it's kind of official. We're launching a Golden Door book, a compilation book with JB, and I have partnered up because a year ago, as she's helping me write or publish ours, it was like, oh my gosh, we should highlight all the Golden Door winners. And what a cool opportunity to share their story and every single one of them had to go through a hardship, had to go through a moment where they're like, I'm gonna buckle down and make this happen. So if you're a Golden Door winner, hit us up because we wanna make you a published author and your story shared at a very high level. And I think the industry, there's thousands and thousands of door knockers that are there and to be in the industry coming. They're going to ask themselves, how do I be in the top 1%? And so we want to give a simple guide and stories highlighting those. And I think it's a really cool project that we're introducing right now, and it will be for the next 4 months. And so if somebody's like, hey, I want to be part of that, we've got JB has an entire amazing team of writers and storytellers and, designers and things like that to help us put this together. And I've had millions, tons of conversations with high-level people that are always like, oh, I wish I could write a book or this or that. This would be a first easy gateway into publishing your first book. So hit us up, DM me on Instagram or whatever if that's something you're interested in. Because I believe it's funny. I've written 4 books now, and I think what's fun about writing is it's a legacy. It's a story you get to tell forever, and it lives beyond you. And I look at people like Stephen Covey, his book still sells more copies than many, many other authors, and he's not even here on this earth. And I think too many of us maybe are too shy. I'm sure you run into a lot of people, JB, of afraid to share. What do you tell that person that's just I'm not worthy, or I don't have a good story, or I'm no different? I'm sure you hear that a lot. What do you tell that person?
Well, first of all, I want to say I'm so honored to do this project with you and your community, because you have some really amazing individuals who've done really amazing things. And let's just say they're everyday people. So when everyday people see everyday other people doing extraordinary things, they suddenly realize, if he can do it, I can do it. If she can do it, I can do it. And so if you've succeeded at something and you've overcome something, it's a great responsibility of yours to share that knowledge with others so you can help lift them up. Now, the one way that we connect with people so truly is through storytelling. In fact, I've done a lot of research. The brain changes when it hears a story. Chemicals in the body start to activate when you start hearing someone else's story. I'm telling you about the North Pole in my story in cycling. There's things going on in your body that you don't even know that makes you feel connected to me. You know me more. You're more connected to my authenticity. You see the value, the core values of who I am. So think about that from a sales perspective. When the people read a story about one of your Golden Door winners and how they overcame something, how they discovered something, how they found a new tool to do something, how they actually created a value system within themselves of how to do business. People who are reading that suddenly feel closer to that person. It's actually just physiological. They feel a connection to them and they're like, I want to do business with that person. I want to know the person who overcame that. I love their story. I can relate to them. And so putting your story in a book is so powerful because it actually creates a frequency of the people that you want to work with. So people who relate to my story come to me because they love my story. The people who don't like my story probably aren't my customers anyway. They're probably not my people. They don't resonate with me the same way. When you tell and then so people will say, okay, I don't have a story. I don't know how to write. Guess what? We can overcome all of that. Writing is so simple. We figure that out. We help you. Our editors support you. But when you can share part of your life story, how you envisioned something, created something, overcame something, mastered something, figured something out, and actually gave back or gained gratitude, that creates the kind of emotion and the kind of connection that people want to do business with you. And so writing that in a book and sharing that, boom.
I think a lot of people in our industry are like, how come I can't recruit? How come I can't grow my business? And I'm like, because you're not attracting people, because you don't have a compelling story, or you've not crafted your story in a compelling way that makes people want to come and work with you. And I think that's one of the bigger limitations that we run into when we coach recruiting or we coach business growth, is I'm like, what makes your business different? What makes you, you're another roofer, you're another pest control guy, you're another whatever. And let's just say that they're all equal before, as industry. Now let's identify the story that enrolls somebody in your mission. So, let's take pest control. They all sell the same thing, same price, same pay, whatever. So it's kind of like, what am I going to enroll you into of my unique story that you can come and plug into, that I can inspire you to then have your unique story, right? And I think that's leadership 101, is like, people all are looking to unlock or untap, unlock that new potential that maybe they've never seen in themselves, right? So it's like one's ability to extract their own story is a skill set, because then all of a sudden they learn how to extract the future story that people they lead have yet to live. Does that make sense? So it's like,
absolutely. And when you tell a story, you don't say like, I'm great, I'm amazing, I'm the top in my business, I'm the best in my city. You say, I came across a difficult time. I had to overcome that. I chose a value. I made a commitment. I persevered. People connect with these common human conditions of perseverance, dedication. They don't care that you're the best in the city. What they care about is your values. And so when you describe your story or you share your story, you're telling people indirectly what your values are, what you stand for, what you believe in. And that's what people connect with. And you're so right when you say that. If you craft your story in a way that shares why you do what you do, why you're passionate about it. People ask me all the time, what, you rode a bike for 91 days? How did you get up every morning? Sam, we rode 140 kilometers a day. We rode 7.5 hours a day sitting on a bike seat. Do you think anyone could get me out of bed in the morning and I'm little tiny motorhome with it freezing cold or boiling hot in the Mexico desert other than me? So just telling you that, it shows me my character. And so when your folks write in this book and they share their characters and their commitments, people are like, wow, I want to do business with them, because if she can get up every morning for 91 days and ride a bike in the 47-degree heat and the -8-degree cold, she's going to be pretty good at what she does if she's my publisher or my roofer or my landscaper or my dog walker. And that's what you want to do to attract people.
I love that. Guys, we're in the business of attraction. We're in the business of conversion. And I think so many people, even sales, it's people tell, stories sell, right? And when I think of like crafting a sales presentation, I think of the ability to just sit there and use your doppelganger, the neighbor, the struggle. Hey, yeah, they thought that this was the problem too. And what they found was, and your ability to really connect these dots. And so, you know, I look at the practice of writing and the practice of storytelling, which is speaking, a lot of public speaking. I've done that for 8 years now. And, you know, a lot of people are like, Sam, you're so good at public speaking. And I'm like, whoa. I spent 8 years practicing this and I do this 100 times a year. So, you know, for me, it's like, I have really found this like movement of, man, if I can get a crowd to move through proper story frameworks, it was the same thing. Like I just put it on a stage instead of in a customer's home. As I was like, why was I so good at sales? Because I was so good at moving customers through stories and emotion. And people ask, like, well, you're just naturally good at sales. I'm like, no, I had to unlock this skill set of storytelling. And I tell myself a story every day. JB tells a story every day. What story am I writing every day? I got to get out of bed and get 7 hours on a bike again, and because I'm committed to this stinking thing. So it's like, whether it's an internal story, an external story, or, you know, it's all in the power of influence and communication. And I think that's what we're in the business of. We're not in the roofing business. We're not in the pest business. We're not in the whatever business. We're in the business of communication. And the more people can master that, the more wealthy they become. You know what I mean? Like
You know what the catnip is for sales?
What?
Authenticity.
Right?
See. It's true. Like when you're truly authentically you're truly authentic, which means you're dialed into your story. When we were in the North Pole, we had a little bit of trouble with our RV. So we went and Googled RV repairs. There was one guy that said a dog and a man RV repair. And we're like, okay, a dog and a man RV repair. And it was a logo of a man's face and a dog's face with a plus sign in the middle. So we call him up. We go to meet him. Perfect. Big guy, big dog, big truck. And he was so fun. And we started talking about his dog. He had taken his dog to get pampered for the day. His dog and him lived in an RV. They started doing RV sales. They drove up to the Yukon. I mean, he had a story. His whole thing was a story, but he was so authentic. He wasn't trying to be the perfect guy. He wasn't trying to be somebody else. He wasn't trying to keep up with he literally was who he was. He was completely authentic. It was totally infectious. It was totally wonderful. And we absolutely wanted to do business with him. And so that's the catnip for sales, is being authentic. And your true authentic self is embedded in your story.
Love that. I love that. Well, guys, I got to let her go because she's got a busy day. She's trying to freaking get back to Calgary. So if you've not gotten here yet, show us where you're at. You're in the dark. Yeah, it's
wait. Come on. I got to show you where I'm at. Look at this.
Oh my gosh. We're doing this podcast on the top of a mountain lake. Holy cow. That is gorgeous. This is the Yukon?
Yes, and there's our big RV. Ignite humanity. See, Peter and I are on the back of the RV just in case we joke around. If we ever get kidnapped, lost, or fall off a cliff, you can find us. There's our pictures.
That is
but
so
look at that,
cool.
Sam.
What a dope place to be doing a podcast, let alone have enough service to do this. This is amazing.
All right, big loves to you and everybody. Thanks so much.
I'm so glad you got to show me that. All the love, guys. We'll see you in a few days. And if you're listening to this,